right, welcome back. In the first part of this video, we learned the basics of Boolean indexing, how to use comparison operators to filter data with single conditions. We saw comparison operators, the greater than, we saw Boolean mask, and then we saw the df with a condition to filter rows, right? So I would assume that you're good with that, but today we are going to take it to the next level. We will learn how to combine multiple conditions using and or operators, right? Sometimes you need more than one condition to be true. For example, you might want to know athletes who are young and who won gold. Young in the sense that given a particular age range and the medal they got was gold, right, in our summer data set. So, and the syntax for multiple conditions is that you filter with condition one, and then you use the ampersand symbol for and condition, and then you add the next condition, in this case, condition two, while wrapping both in parentheses. So, but before we start any filtering, we need to import Pandas library so that we can load our data set, right? So we are going to import Pandas with import Pandas as PD, and then load the summer 2016 data set with Pandas' pd.read_csv method, right, function, right? So yeah, once we get that loaded, we can now start looking at our data frame. All right, so as you can see, we have our data frame ready. We have that. Let me get rid of this unnamed column with the iloc method. It is important that before we start, you take note of the fact that you must use parentheses around each condition if you have more than one condition. If you have multiple conditions, you must use parentheses around each condition. The reason why is because if you don't, running a code that has multiple conditions without including the parentheses would cause an error. Let's take a look at an example. All right, let's take a look at an example. Say you were trying to see athletes whose age is below 25, and the medal they got is gold. If you try to do this, you find that if you don't wrap each condition in a parenthesis, it's going to return an error, right? So this is what you need to take note of. You need to know that there's a need to wrap codes in parentheses. All right, so to get the correct one, you just need to copy the first code and then add parentheses to them. Copy the first code, add parentheses to them, to each condition, and then comment out the wrong code so that it doesn't execute. Now execute it. So as you can see, this is now, it works. It gives us the data frame. So let's see some other examples. The next one we will look at is tall and heavy athletes. So let's call it tall and heavy. Get the height condition for height greater than 190, and then the weight conditions where weight is greater than 90, right? So let's see some of the columns that will be in this tall and heavy. Let's look at the name, the height, the weight, and probably the spot as well. Yeah, I forgot a square brackets at the beginning. I think I forgot a square bracket at the beginning of the code. Yeah, so was it all right? So let's go to the next one. Is USA athletes who won gold, right? So we'll call this let's before we call it anything, let's look at the condition. Let's bring out the condition first before we talk about getting this in a data frame so that you understand it better. So you get the team column and filter for where the team is United States in the entry. and then you get the medal column and filter for where the medal is gold, right? Using the and then as you know, you wrap both in parentheses. So this is the condition, right? The two conditions. So normally, conditions will return a Boolean expression. So to now get this as a data frame, let's call it USA gold. You copy that and you put them as the filter inside your data frame. You get only the data of athletes who got gold and from United States, meaning United States athlete that got gold. So let's look at the sports and medal column. It seems I forgot I added an S there. All right, so as you can see, this is only gold. They only got gold, and then they're all from United States. You don't need to show the country. Let's just leave it like that. So these are all examples of having two conditions, right? And using the ampersand to make sure that both conditions are met before you can get your data frame. So the tip you need to know is that you can chain as many AND conditions as you want. So if you have multiple conditions, 3, 4 conditions, might be athlete that are particular height, weight that are from United States and got gold or silver, right? So you can just keep chaining the AND to also wrapping them in parentheses. All right. So it's time for us to look at multiple conditions with OR operator, right? So with OR, only one condition needs to be true. In Python, we use the pipe symbol for OR, right? So the syntax is like this. The DF it was with AND condition. You put the first condition, and instead of that AND, you put the pipe and then the second condition. What this means is that when either one of these is true, then your condition is true, right? It's either only condition one is met or condition two, only condition two is met, or both of them are met, right? So if, for instance, we're trying to look at those that got gold and silver, right? If you filter for medal and get gold, and then we filter, we put the pipe, then for medal, and when it's silver. So this is either gold or silver, or you understand? So let's just get the value count and see what it is. All right, as you can see, the value count, you know what the value counter method does to count the entries in both entries, the number of entries of both the gold and silver. So that's the difference. Only one of those conditions has to be met. You know, for each athlete, it's either the person got gold or the person got silver. So you use the pipe for the OR operator. So let's look at athletes from swimming or those that participated in athletics. Same thing, but this time you use the sports column, right? Sports column, then you filter for swimming, and then you use the pipe, you get that for athletics. Let me write this down first, and we'll continue. Uh, let's see the value counts. Yeah, as you can see, it works just fine. So that's basically how to use both use OR, where only one condition has to be met. All right, so if you want to combine and OR, when it comes to real world filtering, it requires more often it will require you mixing and OR. So an example would be like tall athletes who won gold or silver. So you see, you have three conditions here. The athletes need to be a particular height, and they should have won either gold or silver, right? So meaning you are excluding bronze in this your condition. So you first of all you filter with the height, right? You get the height, and then you wrap it with the and, meaning that height has to be met, and then the medal should either be gold, right? That's what you filter first, or it should be silver. All right. So this will filter for height being 190, but then and meaning height must be 190, but the medal can be gold or silver. This is what this means. So it will give you athletes who are greater than 190, but they either got gold medal or the silver medal. So let's see some columns. Uh, yeah, I think I made a mistake. I forgot a square bracket somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. Uh-huh. So we've gotten this now. You filtered for the height being greater than 190, and then one of the two medals. So that's how you use and or in one statement. Let's look at a new method, which is called the isin method, right? So all has a problem, right? And we should look at, we'll see what the problem is right now. The, but the thing with all is that it gets messy when you have many conditions. So let's say we are trying to see athletes that belong to one of four teams. Let's say athletes that are from either from United States, Russia, China, or Great Britain. So the way you do this, you'd have to chain in the pipe four times. You bring the United States, and then you type in the Russia, put the pipe, and then you keep going, and then you get the what's it called? You filter for when the team is China. So the team column, you filter for when it's China, right? And then you filter for when the team is Great Britain. Yeah. So you filter for when the team is Great Britain. Uh, as you can see, you have four pipes there. So let's take a look at the length. Okay, yeah, I forgot square bracket. Yeah, there. So as you can see, we have 620 entries of people, athletes that are from one of these countries. But this is messy. You had to chain four pipes. But there's a cleaner way of doing this. Imagine you have 20 teams, right? Trying to look for athletes that are from one of those teams. You have to chain all 20 times. So the clean way of doing it is using the is in method. What you do is, in most cases, you'd have the list of uh, countries. For instance, in this our example, that you want the athletes should be from. So that you would like to filter with, right? United States, Russia, China, and Great Britain. So you would use that list, right? Call on the team and use the is in method to tell Pandas that you would like to filter this particular data frame for entries in the team columns that are in this your list, meaning the list that contains United States, Russia, China, and Great Britain. So let me correct this. So it will filter instead of listing those countries in your filter. It will just using the pipe. It will just use the is in to check for athletes that are in that list of countries. So you see, it doesn't matter how many countries you have in that list. You don't have to type out the code for filtering and keep repeating it and chaining it with the or. You can just use the is in method and use the container storing the list storing the names of the teams in it. inside is in parenthesis, and you get the same thing you would get if you had actually changed the or itself. So you get same results. So let's take a look at another example with all metal types. So let's put this here. We have the gold, silver, and bronze. Mm, all right. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So I think I forgot something. Yeah. I forgot the name of the column. Color column. Yeah. So as you can see, we have that. We have the number of bronze, number of gold, and number of silver. So always use is in when checking multiple values, right? It's cleaner and it's faster and easier to update as well. You can just add to your list or remove from the list. So let's look at the not operator next. Yeah, the not operator. So with the not operator, sometimes you want everything except a certain condition, right? That's where the not operator comes in. Perhaps you would want to see all the athletes from all the teams excluding one team. So you see, you will not be listing everything. It's going to be easier to just exclude that particular team. So to do that, you don't need to use the and or to list the teams. You can just use the not operator to uh, to exclude that particular team you don't want in your data frame. For instance, let's say we want those that didn't get gold. We don't want gold in the record. We can as well say where medal is gold and medal is silver. But of course, you know that that's a bit slow. You can just exclude gold by using the not operator and just say where the data frame the entry of a medal is not gold, as we've done here. As you can see, looking at the length, you see the number of entries that are not gold. So that's how not operator works, right? So, you know, apart from using this particular, you can also use the not equals to get the not operator. They are basically the same, right? So yeah, that's the not operator. So let's take a look at athletes not in the 25 to 35 age range, right? Let's take a look at athletes that are not in this particular age range. So instead of you can just you see these are multiple conditions. They don't fall between 35 and 35. You know these are multiple conditions, but by just adding the not operator, you can just simply wrap that condition, greater than or equals to 25, but they are less than 30 or equals to 35. So when you wrap that and you add the not operator, it will give you athletes that are not within this range. So it's either they are younger or older than that particular range, right? So that's how you use the not operator, right? That's how you use the not operator. So I think that's the last thing we have here. Let's take a quick recap. We've seen the and, right? We've seen the and operator where both must be true, right? We've also seen the or where at least one, when we say at least, it means when both are true, it also passes, but at least one has to be true. We've seen the not operator that excludes a particular condition. Uh, and we've seen this in, which is a clean way to check multiple values, right? So I think that's all we have for the Boolean indexing. You can as well read more on it. You can do your research and read more on this. Thank you for watching.